You asked, I answered. Let's celebrate M4J hitting the big 2K with a good old Q&A. Hey everyone, it's M4J here and welcome to this 2000 subscriber Q&A special. Now, yeah, that's something I never thought I'd hear myself say. So thank you very much everybody who's watched and supported the channel over the years. It turned 12 years old back in July, so I've been doing this for quite some time now. So to get to 2K is huge in many regards, but it's also a little bit of an eye-opener, but I'll come to that a little bit later on in the video. I put out a YouTube community post and also a Discord post, I think back in June time, roughly around when we hit 2K, asking for your questions, and you have delivered. There are, just off the top of my head here, 25 questions to answer. I will try and get through them as quick as possible, and we'll hop into a couple of games while we're there as well, just to stop you having to look at me the whole time. You'll also notice, as it's demonstrating now, my chair's still broken, so I might sink gradually throughout these face cam moments. You'll also notice that I'm still using the crap face cam. I haven't been able to buy a new one yet. So I'm going to fix my chair very quickly, and then we're going to get into the first questions. Alright, chair's still broken, so I've just moved everything down. Microphone, camera, everything. So yeah, I'm basically sat on the floor here, but never mind. Let's get to the first questions then. There's two here that I could probably answer back to back, to be honest. They're about the channel itself. So the first one is, when is the next live stream? The answer is, I don't know, to be honest. I've talked about streaming in the past. Even now, I'm like, I wouldn't mind streaming again. I used to enjoy having a lot of moments where I'll be playing whatever random game I'm playing that night, and people come in for the first time and see what I'm about and what I do and things like that. But last year there was kind of a realization moment where I was basically talking to myself for an hour. Maybe one person would join the stream, maybe a couple. No one really took part in the conversation. It was mainly people just sharing what they were doing in their game, almost trying to put me down a little bit. You know, like if I was playing Forza, someone would ask how many cars I've got, and I'd say like, oh, 100 or something like that, which is, I don't go out and collect cars in Forza. I just play the game, win races, get cars that way. And they would reply with, oh, I've got 310. And I'm like, okay, it's not really what I'm here for. I'm not here to compare notes and try and be better than anyone else. I've never claimed that I'm the best at any game, to be honest. I might occasionally for a joke be like, oh, I'm so good at this. But ultimately, I've always advertised myself as the average gamer. And you know, you're watching my journey whilst maybe you're starting the game for the first time as well. So we're basically entering at the same level. It's one of the reasons as well why I don't really test games out before I make videos on them. I just go in blind because I want to be that person that represents what you see when you start the game for the first time, and not already be some absolute pro. There are some exceptions to that. F1 Manager I was very experienced in when it first launched because I'd already played it, you know, as part of the perks of my old job. To get back on topic though, streaming, I don't think I'll be streaming again this year, and I don't know about next year either, but that's for reasons that again I'll come to a little bit later on as well. I did enjoy it, but when it's you talking to yourself on your own for an hour or an hour and a half, whatever it might be, and the only people who are in the chat are just trying to put you down, it's not the most enjoyable experience. You know, I've got my partner sat downstairs waiting for me. I could spend time with her watching TV. You know, I could be out having fun, doing all sorts of things, living a life. Instead, I chose to spend that hour a week sat in this very dark office. I've got like 6 lights on me right now trying to light me up, and even now I still don't think it does a very good job. You might notice there's daylight coming in, but if I open that curtain you won't be able to see me at all. And yeah, it's very hot in here. I've not been able to record much during the day over the summer, so if I look really washed out and tired, that's why. Normally I have to wait till like 8 or 9 p.m. before I can start recording, and then I'm in here for like 2 or 3 hours depending on what I'm doing. So streaming just wasn't enjoyable, in all honesty. So to answer that question, I don't know. I don't know when the next live stream will be. So the next question, this is actually a really, really good one. What surprised you over the last few years in regards to the channel? It's kind of it makes you think, this one, because it's kind of on a day-to-day, you don't really think about the channel that much and what's going on with it and things. You mainly just focused on, viewing figures. Is it metricing well? Is that even a word? Is it doing well in the analytics? Is it getting good view count, good interaction, good watch time? What's the retention level like? There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes when making a YouTube video, believe it or not. And that's before you even start looking at things like, how does it tie into the rest of the series? If I make a video on a particular subject in OpenTTD, can I then refer back to that in a future video? The thing that surprised me the most is how difficult it is to build a network of other creators. I've played OpenTTD on the channel now for, I want to say 8 or 9 years, which sounds crazy now I've said it out loud. And someone actually asked me this on Reddit recently. I was talking about the M4J Network on there, and someone asked how old the map was, and I actually went back and looked, and I think the current map that we're on now, the first episode I made on it, building it, was 7 years ago, which, considering where it's at now, basically no trains running on it, lots of major rebuilds and things like that, it's crazy to think that the first rails were laid 7 years ago, over half of this channel's life ago. But I've been playing that game for long enough now that I would have thought people would have said to me, oh, you're good at this, do you want to come join us and make videos together? That doesn't happen. And actually the only collaboration that I've been invited to in recent years was in Transport Fever 2, and without dwelling too much on that again, didn't end very well. So I think the thing that surprised me the most is how individualistic everyone is in a community that is, on the face of it, designed to be for sharing. You go on Planet Coaster forums and there's people talking about how awesome everyone's build is. You very rarely see anyone be like, oh, let me help with that. Well, in my experience anyway, maybe it is out there, but I don't really see it. And I know Planet Coaster 2 has the collaboration feature now. Is it Share My Park or something like that it's called? Can't remember off the top of my head. The only one that I've had good success with really is Minecraft with the Summerset MTR server, and Master Trams has come on and helped both with my projects and also building his own stuff, which actually to me makes the server more appealing. If it's just me on my own, it's great that I can sit here and say, oh, come and join me, but until someone actually does, I feel like the sluice gates remain closed, and I'm very fortunate in that regard that I had someone who actually volunteered, and technically both Master Trams and George will be joining me on OpenTTD in the not too distant future for something as well. But no disrespect to them, they're not really creators in the same way that I've been. I've been doing this for over 10 years. Master Trams has a channel, it's a very good channel, I strongly suggest you check it out, and he has been making OpenTTD content on a map that actually means a lot to me personally, so I definitely recommend that you go check out his videos. But he's not been doing it for as long as I have, and I know there are other creators in the space who have been doing it for as long as I have that I feel I'd gel quite well with. But you can't force it. I'm not gonna go and say to them, you have to make videos with me. And because of my own anxiety and stuff, I'm not really confident enough to go and ask them myself. But I do feel like there are times where it's a very lonely experience, and my only experience with collaboration with other long-term creators ended so poorly, in my opinion, and so unnecessarily poorly as well. That's the thing that always gets to me, is how long I've been doing this and how little I think I've actually gained from it from a social side. In terms of skill set and stuff, my career literally now is based around making content, which I wouldn't have been able to do were it not for this channel. To cut the long story short, I was an engineering student at university when I started this channel, and now I've got a degree in media, and I've worked for one of the largest gaming news outlets in the world. I work as a consultant to help other people with social media and small businesses and things like that, and I make videos for you guys. So yeah, to summarize, the too long didn't listen. The thing that surprised me the most is how difficult it actually is. First of all, to get noticed in this. I try and do things in a unique way to stand out, which you'll definitely see in just a moment. But how difficult it is to get noticed, and then once you are noticed, how difficult it is to get others to sort of share the experience with you and collaborate. And even if it's behind the scenes, not making videos together, trying to actually to build that network has definitely been the hardest part of this. But when you're watching it from the outside, it looks like the easiest part. So yeah, that's what surprised me most. Okay, so the next questions are all about the M4J network, so I thought I'd hop into the game and show you it this way, mainly so that you don't have to look at my ugly mug for the whole time, but also because it makes it easier to point things out and demonstrate things rather than having to record the content after and then try and match it up. I'm very lazy. These are all from master trams, and I'll say in advance that I have edited these slightly. I've cut quite a few of the questions out because some of them are a little repetitive and some of them I genuinely didn't have answers for right now. So in the interest of getting through this as quick as possible, I thought I'd just, trim it slightly. I had permission to do that. I did also say that, not every question would get selected, but I tried to keep as many in as possible. And yeah, there's a lot, so we need to get through these. There's 18 in total. So the first question is, which is your favorite big station? Now, obviously, I have to come to Guard City for this. And I think you're all going to know it. It's obviously GSG. This station right now is already busy. If I show you the departure board, these are all vehicles. I mean, you see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 vehicles just sat here already. A lot of them are buses and trams, admittedly. So that kind of skews the numbers slightly, but we've got 3 high-speed trains there, 2 commuter trains there, there may be an HLR train. Yep, there's an HLR train sat there, and eventually we're going to have overground trains over here, and then also underground trains down here, as well as centre rail. These 6 platforms in the middle here are solely for trains heading through the city and beyond. Although I think I said this in the West Winds video, that my plan is maybe to have a West Winds train start here and then stop at these stations along the way, but it'll be a temporary thing until centre rail's up and running, and then I'll bow out and let George take over. There's a lot going on here, so this is definitely my favourite station, and when I'm not like creating videos in this network, I do just sit here and watch trains go through. Sometimes I won't do it right now, but I have a B-roll gatherer video. If you've watched my tutorial series, you'll see that there's clips from the old network when trains were running then. That even then, I load that up and I'll just sit here because there's so many trains that come through here. It's insane. So yeah, this is by far my favorite big station. The next question, as you'll imagine, is what's my favorite small station? This one's a little bit harder, I would say. Mainly because I forgot to mention this at the top. One of the rules that Master Trams gave me here is I'm not allowed to say the same station twice, which I think is fair. But because of that, there's one that was my favourite small station that I now can't say because I'm using it for another answer. Depending on what you define as being small, because Plintbridge Parkway here is 6 platforms, which makes it quite big. But in terms of its actual footprint, it's relatively small. Only takes up, what's that, a 36 tile area, plus these bits here for the building. Okay, the bus stop there as well, the bus station, takes up a little bit of ground too. But maybe I won't use this one. Is that going straight through? Yeah, you're going straight through. That's the Airport Express. I'm starting to learn my own routes, believe it or not. I guess one of them, in terms of small stations, and again, it depends what you define as being small, but West Bank. This is kind of a neat station. It's only, what, 12, sorry, tiles in total. There is a little bus stop there as well, so it's 13. But this is a major hub on the HLR, Hatfield Light Railway, by the way, for those that don't know. I got told off once for using abbreviations without saying what they meant. That's not even an abbreviation, is it? That's an acronym. Whatever. This is good. This is a really good station. It has, on the core here, which is the north to south line, it has 3 different lines running through, 3 different routes running through. And then on the lower platforms here, it's got 1 route right now. There may be more in future, but it's got at least 1 right now. And it works. You know, it's a really cool station. I really love the fact as well, because the upper line came first. This was originally a branch line, funny enough, from GSG. And I've always said this, you can still see the little stub there where it used to come, and then it used to come around like this, mostly single track. There was like a station here, there was a station down here somewhere, and then it terminated here at Lafayette Viaduct. This was just single platforms on their own up here. And then when the HLR came in, the lower branch from the... actually, yeah, sorry, let me try that all again. When it was just the branch line, it was just this. When the HLR came in, it was still just this for a long time, and the Transrapid came underneath it, and there was no connection between them. There was a connection at Guard Lake, and that was it. When it got converted to the HLR, then we added these lower platforms, and it became a lot cooler and a lot nicer. And it's a really good interchange between north, south, east, west. You can almost imagine it's Thameslink on the top and Crossrail on the bottom, although the trains are a lot smaller, but they are a lot faster. Or at least they are than Thameslink. They're not so much faster than Crossrail, and they're fully automated, these trains, which is awesome as well, although Thameslink is technically automated at that point, and so is Crossrail. So yeah, I guess the comparisons are true. Next, what's your favourite multimodal station? Now, this originally would have been GSG again, but I can't answer that. So I guess another one, I'm just looking to see if there's any around here. There aren't really, because GSMA is overground, heavy rail, and underground, which is kind of cool. GSMI has... That's GSMI. Has just heavy rail and underground and HLR. GSP has overground, underground, and heavy rail. There aren't really many that are completely multimodal, that have like lots of different... like this has everything. It's got high speed, heavy rail... I'm calling it, you know what I mean, national rail, goes to long distance kind of thing. Commuter rail, suburban commuter. I guess this is a metro as well, and then two different types of metro. So yeah, it's a tricky one to answer. I might swerve away from GSG though, and actually if I follow, let's follow the Transrapid out of GSJ. Which is this. This is still meant to be redone. I'm still working on my timetable program. I might actually talk a little bit about that at the end of this section, because it does fit, and it's part of the future of the channel section of this video. So I will mention it briefly here. Where are we at? We go along like this, and then somewhere... Oh, turn south first. I forgot about that. Somewhere around... My word, this goes a lot further south than I thought it did, actually. I'm going to rebuild a lot of this route, though, to try and make it cut through the countryside a little bit more. I think that's a good idea. But this is where I was going. So this is Brenfingley Estrella, and this is the dictionary definition of multimodal. For a start, it's beautiful with all the eye candy and the little overflow car park at the back here. But in terms of what stops here, we've got National Rail over here. We've also got a couple of platforms here on a dedicated route. We've got the high speed, and we've got the Transrapid. So there's a lot coming through here. So if this qualifies, then this is my candidate. I love this station. This used to be just the high speed, which is here, and this. But this used to be a lot closer. And then when the Transrapid came along, we just added that in. I think actually, maybe it was always like this. Thinking about it, I'm trying to remember the history of the station. I built it. I can't even remember it. But the Transrapid shook things up a lot, and then it shook up even more when I rebuilt this with these extra platforms. And these extra platforms here are literally just for this route here. But it works, and it works really well. And then this, you can see there's a stub here that doesn't actually go anywhere right now. That needs doing as well. There's a lot of those around the network. But yeah. Eventually I'll finish them all. But this is my favourite multimodal station. Next question, which is your favourite main line? I think we have to go back to Guard City for that. And my candidate for that is the Great Northern, which starts here at GSG and then runs up through Plint Bridge. It's 6 tracks along here, which is awesome. Connects up with the cross-country line here. Then reaches Doneborough, where it splits into a 4 and a 2. That's the Wafingford branch, or the Wafingford loop. This is the main line. And then, yeah, just carries on as a 4-track main line all the way through here. Goes through Punfingford, which is another favourite interchange of mine. Does that come up later? Yes, it does. So I won't dwell on that too much. And then runs up through here, this little valley section here, through Honningville, where everything meets. This is a huge problem. Don't worry, we'll fix that someday. Up the hill here, which is a mammoth task for most of the trains. And then down into Warnbridge Airport, where the Great Northern ends. And the Grand Northern, which is this section along here, which runs across the entire north edge of the map, begins. And then we've also got the North Valleys that comes through here as well. As a little pacer pulls into the station, this will get fixed too. I think at the point of me recording this video, none of the videos for the M4J network have been released. In terms of when this video is releasing, I think one has been released, but the second one hasn't. So you haven't seen the Pacers join the network yet, but you have seen all of this stuff. So I won't spoil too much for you here. But, I mean, you can see that there are trains running and things appear to be working. So that's awesome. What's your favourite branch line? Well, I've just said it, the North Valleys line. If you can call it a branch line, because, again, it's quite a long one. It starts over here at Sunnington and then runs up through this bit here, across this, and then it goes into a section that I'm not going to show because it'll spoil the video. Joins up, there is a branch that comes over here to Honningville, but it mainly joins up again at Warnbridge, and then branches off again and runs all the way over to Beffingway, which is up here. And you can see how it runs basically parallel to the Great Northern and Grand Northern main lines at this point. But yeah, that's my favourite branch line. From conception to finishing building, that's the one I've enjoyed the most. I just think it's really, really good. And the changes I make to it in an upcoming episode make it even better, in my opinion. So yeah, by far, that is my favourite branch line. What's the smallest big station? That's another really good question. Again, it depends on what you define as being small. GSJ is actually quite a small station in terms of what it does. It's the hub for the Guard City Great Eastern franchise, which runs out this way towards Renston and Drentbourne and Denston. That's the word I was trying to think of, Denston Carnegie. But it's also got a little overground section here with the third rail. So there's quite a lot going on here. Plus it's the hub for the Transrapid. It's got an HLR station. It's also got an underground station, and it's got a massive bus station attached to it too. But I don't think that qualifies for this. So my favourite, sorry, not my favourite, the smallest big station is Guard Lake, I would say. This is Guard City Central, basically. If that was a station, this would be it. It doesn't have much here in terms of track. It's the hub of Centrail, the north-south here. It's got an HLR station, and it's got a big bus station. It's also got a tram stop, it's got a heliport, and it's got a massive ferry dock. And most of the ferries that operate in the city also use this as a hub. In the future, I would like to try and add an underground line through here as well. How the heck I'm going to do that, I have absolutely no idea. Because as you can see, the HLR stops me going under, and Centrail kind of stops me going over if it's a west to east line, which I wanted to do. Yeah, that was kind of the plan, but we'll see. But yeah, ultimately, Guard Lake, by far the best station for this. It's tiny. It's only got 4 platforms here and 2 down here, so 6 in total. But the number of trains that are going to operate through here is excessive, eye-wateringly excessive. I mean, we're literally talking, I think once everything's up and running, we're going to be talking like a train every 2 minutes. So 30 an hour coming through this in each direction, which is just crazy. But yeah, that's my candidate for that one. Which is your favourite airport? There aren't many airports on this map that are fully done. There are lots that still need to be done. Over here, for example, at Rinston. There are some that have already been done, like over here at Great Winfield. This is actually also a candidate to get rebuilt slightly. Because, yeah, not so much the airport, but the stations. Over here, for example, these bay platforms are going to be kaput. They're going to go. Or we're going to extend it over to here to the east terminal. Because technically that is east of the west terminal, which is here. But I think the airport maybe does need to move this side of everything. And then the canal will go around it like so. That's probably a better idea in my opinion. It's not my favourite though. My favourite is over here, Guard City, Puntingford, which I'm technically going to break the rules here because this is answering two questions. What's your favourite airport? It's also answering the next question, which is which airport is the furthest from its namesake location? So the real world example that Master Trams used was London, Oxford. Oxford is 40 minutes outside London, I think, maybe even an hour, depending on traffic. And they had the audacity to put London in the name of their airport. So Puntingford's kind of the same. This is Guard City, Puntingford Airport, and yet it's a ways away from Guard City. It could well be tied. Actually, no, it's not. Yeah. Great Winfield is closer. So yeah, Puntingford answers both of those. Sorry, I've broken the rules a little bit there, but it genuinely does answer both questions. So there you go. What's your favourite harbour / port? This is a really easy one and a quick one as well. Ley Hill Cruise Terminal. It looks pretty, it functions well, it will eventually link up to many cities across the map, thanks to the fact that the pathfinding on ships has now been changed. I don't need as many buoys to operate cruise ships anymore. So in theory, let's say I extended this waterway up to this big lake here, we could actually have a cruise ship operate from here. I don't know, let's say we keep carving out these channels all the way across, all the way up to here, say, without having to use a buoy, or is it a buoy? You folks across the pond say. It's buoyancy. You don't say buoyancy, do you? It's buoy. So yeah, simple, easy, done. What's your favourite freight terminal? Guard City North. Look at this. It's crammed in. It's actually had a bit of a rebuild, which again you'll see. In fact, you'll have already seen that by the time this video goes out, I think. Pretty certain you will have. But yeah, this is awesome. This whole section of lines around here is my favourite. Whenever I posted screenshots of this, people were just like, how the hell did you build all that? I have no idea, in all honesty. And again, it needs cleaning up and tidying. This section here, for example, all of these junctions here need redoing. This loop kind of needs looking at, but I have to be careful because we've got these main lines here that are technically functional. No train has run on them yet, but they are all set up and signalled, ready to go. And the freight terminal is technically ready to go. It's just it needs a little bit more work doing to it before it can go. It also needs somewhere to take all the cargo to, and somewhere to bring the cargo from, I suppose, as well, because this is a transfer yard. You know, there's no actual industries here where stuff can be accepted. I guess goods and petrol and recyclables can be brought here, but nothing else. That's not an industry, is it? Oh, it's a recycling depot. I might have built that one myself, actually, and that looks like a recycling plant. Okay, so there are some things here that can be used here, but ultimately, yeah, this one. What's your favourite tram network? That's also a pretty easy one to answer. It is Sanley's. I like Bar Cities. I'll show you it in a second, but Sanley's here, the way this is all set up, this is a proper candidate for my timetabling program. I do need to go back and revisit this and make it work a little bit better, but this is awesome. The way that it spans out, I don't know if I can actually show you it by zooming out. No, I can't really. But we've got lines that run everywhere. There's a tram line that runs down here. There's one that goes over here. There's one that goes over here. One here and one here. And that's just for this peninsula. In terms of the metro tram, you'll see that we've got the one that runs through the avenue here. That crosses the water. Excuse me. And when it gets to here, it splits. And we have, I think it's 3 branches that come down this way. One to, yeah, here. One to the airport, which is also a nice airport, actually. That could have been a candidate too. And another one that heads off in this direction and terminates, yeah, somewhere around here. They're all fine, but then there's more. There's another one that heads north, yeah, here, and then I believe this one splits into 2 as well somewhere. So it's a very extensive network. Just to show you Bar Cities quickly, and Bar City is a close second in all of this. This is Bar City's tram network, and it's actually a metro system. So this is its hub at Bar City Central. And then, yeah, there's lines everywhere. There's one to both terminals of this airport, so that's 2. There's one over here, that's 3. And then on the northern side, there's a branch over here. There's a branch here. There's also a southern branch from here. And then there's one that runs up through here and splits into two. One goes to here, one goes to here. And then on this side, there's another one that goes all the way up to what's going to become a cruise terminal over here as well. So they're both sort of tied, I would say, but Sanley's came first. So I think that's going to hold a special place in my heart. What's next? What's your favourite long distance coach route? That's also an easy one. I don't know if I could find one that does it. Basically, there's a coach. This is Guard Lake's coach station, which is the there are buses that come through here, but this is where all the long distance coaches originate. It's basically Victoria bus station for Guard City. And my favourite one, it starts here, it works its way over to the main road, which, why can't I see it? There it is, here, and it carries on through all of this, along here, and then it gets onto the orbital, which is this road here, and this circles the entirety of the city. And in fact, are you the one? No, you are not the one. But yeah, it gets to here. Ah, you might be the one. Nope, you're not the one either. It gets to here, and then it runs up the... oh, this is still the orbital. Yeah, this is still the orbital. This east to west bit here used to be the orbital, but then it got extended outwards. Gets to here, goes straight on, and then this... No, this one, sorry, is the M1. And at this point, it's hard to tell, because of the linearity of roads in this game, it's hard to tell where roads actually go. That's the one that goes to Punfingford. That's the M11. We carry on up the M1 to Warnbridge, where there's also a route, and then over somewhere, is it Junction 7 maybe? Somewhere this turns into, there it is, Junction 9, Junction 10, it turns into the Great North Road, and it runs across, well, it will eventually run across the entire northern coast of the map. But there's a coach that runs along all of this to Beffingway, which... There it is. So it only runs 51 miles an hour. I need to find some faster coaches for this. But this is it. This is what it does. It runs across the entire northern edge of the map. Literally, whatever the capacity of these coaches are, it brings people from... Why can't I find stuff? Beffingway's there, I think. Yeah. All the way into the centre of Guard City. And it does that back and forth all day long. That's my, yeah, by far my favourite long distance coach route. What's my favourite bus station? There aren't many that I've put a lot of effort into, to be honest. You can see they're sort of just slapped down. Now that I've got the eye candy bus stops, which look like this, with all the different covers and stuff, I can go and change some of these. I guess the favourite bus station... I like the ones that are just outside stations like this. This is Guard City St Christopher, which is one of the other overground hubs here in Guard City. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think any in Guard City have actually been properly decorated, which makes it a little bit trickier to do. Maybe St John's? Nah, not St John's. I'm just thinking off the top of my... Actually, there is one. There is one. And it doesn't qualify because I didn't choose it before. But yeah, Bar City Centrals. It's on a raised platform around the city here. There's little bits of eye candy below. There's a tram line that runs underneath it. And it's not the prettiest or anything, but in terms of its functionality, I think it's actually very, very good. It's got its own dedicated waypoint, which I can't select. There it is. For speed limit controls and stuff like that. There's multiple ways that buses can leave once they get to that point. And I just think it fits the aesthetic of the station as well. The station is also raised. The tram stop isn't. So I think having the bus station on one side, the tram on the other, and then this massive station in the middle. Is there a train in? There is not. Is there a train due? Let's see. Nope, I always do the wrong one. There we go. There is one to Plenborough, sorry, coming through. Is it really going to take that long to get here? Oh, you're just leaving Guard City. That'll be why. So yeah, that's going to take 20 odd minutes to get here, which is insane. But yeah, that's the favourite bus station. Which will be the next route to have a timetable implemented? That's a good question, because I'm going to try not to spoil any videos while I'm answering this one. You've already seen the Western Reaches North come to be, and here it is. We've got the 3 APTs here, 2 to Sunnington, 1 to Plindon, and then we've got the suburban trains, of which one is just leaving now. The next one, at the time of recording this, I have already recorded the next 2 episodes of the M4J Network, so I'm not going to tell you anything about those, but at the time of recording, for me, the next route to be implemented will be the Western Reaches South, which will be from here, down the west coast, all the way to Sanley. And I've already got all of the routes planned out for that. I'm just going through the final stages of, checking that everything is... whoops, sorry, didn't mean to hit that. Checking everything's viable. All being well, that will be the next one. And there will be trains based over here at Sanley TMD. And there will also be trains based at the other depots that you've seen on the Western Reaches. In terms of not recording, in terms of what's the next one that you're going to see after this video goes out, it's the North Valleys. And that is now fully up and running, although you will see towards the end of that episode that things aren't quite as rosy as I'd like them to be. But it is up and running, so trains are running, basically. How many franchises are there? That's a good question. I have no idea. In terms of regions, I think there's 7 regions on the map. Each one has at least 1 major franchise. In terms of, let me get up the spreadsheet here, and we can have a look at this. So in terms of, I'm going to try and keep talking into the microphone as I'm doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10... 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 franchises just there, and that's not including some pretty major ones. So the ones I've got are High Speed, Transrapid, Western Reaches North, West Winds, Guard City Great Northern, Northwestern, Western Reaches South, Grand Northern, Network Central, Bar City Express, Bar City Connect, Southeastern, Southwestern, Guard City Overground, and Guard City Underground. There are going to be a lot more. And somewhere on the map, East Coast, I haven't added. Northeastern, I've also not added. In fact, I didn't say Northeastern, did I? Did I say Northeastern? No. So that's also one that needs to be added. Tons more. So we could be looking at like 40 to 50 maybe in total, and that's not including the little branch lines like the Sanley Bay lines is its own little franchise. There's a lot, so I can't give you an exact number, but I can tell you for sure there's more than 15. Then we've got some that they're not related specifically to the network, but they are related to OpenTTD or transport and railways and stuff in general, so we might as well stay here whilst we look at them. What's your favourite train in the UK? By far the networkers. In particular, the 365s, because they're the ones that used to take me to London. I think I've answered this in previous videos, but I'll answer it again. They're nicknamed the Happy Train because the little air conditioning vent sits on the front of the cab and it looks like a smiley face. That was a pure accident from what I've heard, but yeah, it's called the Happy Train. Actually, I live not too far from the East Kent Railway, and they've got one there. I drove past it recently and got to see the little Happy Train. But they remind me of home as well. I like the networkers anyway. I think they're smart looking trains, but they remind me of home, and considering I've moved away from home now, it's nice to have a little bit of familiarity in your life. Will you be doing another OpenTTD series, and will it be based on Japan? First of all, no, not based on Japan if I ever did one, because I don't know much about Japanese railways. I'm aware of them and I think they're really cool, but I don't know enough about them to be able to even do a network inspired by them. In terms of another series, I think the answer right now is no, in all honesty. I'm very happy with what I'm doing with the M4J network. It's probably the thing I'm most well known for across my channel history. I think people know me as the guy who plays OpenTTD realistically, which I don't know if that's an insult or a badge of honor necessarily, but yeah. I like what I'm doing here, and I've got so many plans for this still, which I will mention again in a second. I don't want to mess that up by trying to juggle 2 OpenTTD series. So I think the answer right now, I'm afraid, is no. Final question for the OpenTTD section then. What's your favourite train company on the M4J network? It's not even one of mine, in all honesty, but Centrail, which is Guard City Connect and Guard City Express. They're under one umbrella, which is actually Guard City Connect. That's the official name, but they're split into Connect and Express. But they're going to use these platforms here. Basically, the West Winds line, which is this overhead electrified line here. The Great Northern, which is this line here. And then the Southwestern, which is this route here. The Southern, which is this route here. And the Southeastern, which is this route here. They are all connected via this set of tracks. Right now there's 4. In all honesty, if I was to do that idea where I convert or build a new underground line through here, I think I could borrow a pair of these tracks. Maybe the outer ones, and we'll do some jiggery pokery over here to make it work. Now I've said that out loud, I kind of want to investigate that, but not right now. It's just a really cool franchise. It links Beffingway, Sunnington, Kinding Hatton Airport Parkway, which is down, funnily enough, on the Western Reaches south. That is all the way over here. That's the southwestern limit. And then on the eastern side, I think it goes down as far as Drentbourne, which is... It certainly comes through here, which also is going to get a major rebuild. This is Tunway and Funston, one of my least favourite stations on the network, purely because of how ugly it all looks. Let me just look at this. It's horrendous. This is all going to get redone. I promise you that. I won't find it. Just trust me when I say it. It's a huge franchise, and I'm so envious that George claimed it. But that was his right. He's a YouTube... He's not a YouTube member, sorry. He's a Patreon supporter. And one of the perks of that is you get to choose your franchises, and that's the one he chose. And I was like, damn, but fine. So Centrail. The other thing about Centrail, which I forgot to mention, is it also links east to west. So over here at Great Winfield Airport, there's this pair of tracks that come up this way. They connect to the Western Reaches north here. They connect to the West Winds here and here. They also... ignore some of this. Technically this is part of it as well, so we'll come back to that in a future episode maybe. They connect to the Grand Northern here, the Great Northern here. Then there's a connection to the Overground here, and somewhere around here. That's the Underground it connects to there. And then it comes all the way over here to Renston, where it joins up with, the HLR, the Underground, technically the Overground, but we won't dwell on that right now, and the Transrapid. That's part of Centrail as well, so that's also George's. So it's a huge franchise, and again, the fact that he gets to play with it, I'm very, very envious. If I was to pick a second favourite, it would be the cross country, or cross network, which is cross country and cross region, purely because that starts in Denston. Excuse me, my voice is starting to go. Where's Denston? No, that's not Denston. Actually, that's Bathurst Street. I say I'm nowhere near Denston. Denston is somewhere. There it is. It's always tricky to find. This is Denston Carnegie, which is the hub of cross network. So all the cross country and cross region trains will either start from or run through here. And as you can see, it's absolutely mental. This is also going to get a major rebuild. This split platform thing kind of doesn't work with what I'm doing with my timetable programs, so I need to build them all as single platforms again, which you might have seen I've already done over at Punfingford. That used to have a split platform design, now it doesn't. However, to segue into the timetabling stuff, I am working on transitioning that program already, because you'll see in the coming episodes stuff didn't quite work out how I planned it to. So without giving too much away on those episodes, they were basically waypoints weren't working correctly, or stations acting as waypoints wasn't working correctly, and there was a little bit of chasing going on, which I was trying to avoid. So the solution, and I've already started implementing this, is I'm creating the network database, which is something I talked about a long time ago. Started working on and then abandoned it quite quickly, but I'm actually working on it now. So the database exists, like the actual tables and everything to do with them exist. I'm currently in the process of populating those tables with all of the information. That includes all of the routes, all of the stations, and just to put that in context, if I was to select this and select just this, there are 1,637 1,637 stations. They all need to be logged on the database. That's going to take me months, I would say, to do. And I've got originally, so I'm using a cloud-based system to host the database, and originally I had to use command prompts to input lines, but I've actually got a Python script now that's created a nice little UI that does it for me, which is a lot nicer, so I can just go in and manually enter them. But yeah, every route, every franchise, every station, every depot, every item of rolling stock, or buses or trams or aircraft, whatever it might be, absolutely everything is getting logged on that database. It's a huge project, and the reason I'm doing it that way is because then I can take the timings, which I've already recorded. So for example, from where are you going? You are running to Plindum Junction. So I can take all of the running times of an APT from Guard City St Michael to Plindum Junction and put them in the database, which means in the future, if I wanted to create a new route from here to Plindum using that item of rolling stock, I can just go select all those stations, and it will build the schedule for me, and then conflict detect it and everything. That's the plan. Hopefully it works. If it does, really cool. But that's one of the reasons why I don't want to abandon this save as well, is I don't want to do anything to jeopardize the M4J network, because that's a really hefty project that I've started there, and I do want to see it through to the end. So yeah, I might actually do a separate series on YouTube, which is just updating you on how that project is going, so I'm not mentioning it in the main series all the time, because that could be quite boring if you're not interested in that sort of thing. To go back to the Western Reaches South, that is still happening using the old program, so there's a chance that, you know, stuff here might still get messed up slightly, but yeah, ultimately there's a huge transition coming to the network, and I'm very excited, because what that means is I can just go through and re-signal various routes. So like Center Rail here, for example, I can re-signal it, and then I can just run timing trains through it, get all of those timings, put them in the database, and then I don't have to touch them for a year. You know, someone else can then come on and say, you know, I'm a YouTube member or a Patreon supporter, whatever it might be. I've got the desire to run a train between, you know, GSJ and where's the high-speed station up here? Woodston Kylestra, and I want to use, I don't know, a class 158, and I'd be like, brilliant, that timing's already in the database. You can just literally go on the UI, hit that as your starting point, hit that as your ending point, choose your stations along the way that you want to stop at, and the program will build the schedule for you based on the info that it's in the database. If there isn't timings already in the database, then it will flag it, and they will have to be added, of course. But ultimately, it's going to just make life easier for you guys when you come on and join. You don't have to do any of the hard graft yourself. It'll already be done for you. If you do want to do it yourself, of course, that's a different matter, and we can set that up for you for sure. But the idea is to try and get more people to support the channel, and to do that is to make it as easy as possible for you to just come on and do your thing without having to worry about all the technical side. So yeah, I've talked for 38 minutes on the M4J network. We're now going to hop on a plane or a train or whatever it's going to be to take us over to Minecraft and Summerset MTR for the next set of questions. Here we are then, back in Summerset. I haven't actually been on this server for quite some time. The last episode of the series, in fact, which, oh man, we're talking months at this point, aren't we? I need to get back on here. Someone asked me again recently about it, and yeah, I definitely need to get back on here. It's in the plan, it's in the pipeline, it's just lack of motivation, a little bit of Minecraft burnout maybe. Not really doing me any favours, I'm afraid, so it will happen, just not right now. Nice to be back though, and looking around. I've just ridden the train from Reeton, which is all the way over there somewhere, around the loop here back to Summerset Place. Slept in my own bed, which is just beneath me here. And I'm standing on the top of Summerset Tower right now. But yeah, let's talk about... Let's hide the UI for a second and we can actually see this properly. Let's talk about the questions. So the first one, what's your favourite railway station? Summerset Place. It's not the prettiest or the smartest or even the best built, to be honest, but it will always hold a special place because it was the first one built on the server. This is actually when this was back originally called Guard City. Oh, I can't see the tracks out the window. There they are. Back when this was originally Guard City, this was a station. This was meant to be Guard City Central. Then it became Guard Square. And now it's Summerset Place or Summerset Square. Ignore the fact there's massive holes here, by the way. If you watched the last episode of the Summerset MTR series, you'll know that this is now on a Fabric server. And the car mod that we were using that had the roads isn't supported on Fabric. So we've lost all of our roads. We are in the process of getting them back. That's one of the other things I've been dragging my feet over, is updating the mods. But yeah, there's stuff happening here too. I'm just looking to see what the next train is. If we go down to the light rail platforms, which are the only ones right now that are actually in use. So yeah, Summerset Place. Oh, so you terminate here. Wherever you are. There it is. You can just see the headlights coming into view. There's an iron golem there that seems to have lost the ability to coordinate itself correctly. Do we have lines here? No. I'm not actually sure. Oh, it's this one. Wait, I'm really confused. Why is there no line here? Is it... Oh, I think it's because you terminate here, so it doesn't count. That could be why. Also, yeah, that station still needs renaming. It's a long line now. Yeah. Sorry, I'm completely distracting myself. As I said, it's been a while since I was on here. So, what's your favourite railway station? Summerset Place. It was the first one I built. It will always hold a special place in my heart. It's not actually the worst. The design, like the aesthetic, the granite everywhere is a little bit brutalist, I suppose. But in terms of the actual, overall design of it all here, it's fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. It functions. When we've got the platforms over there in action as well, it's going to be a lot busier here. You can see through the window there as well. The platforms extend a little bit further. The server seems to struggle a lot with loading stuff in. That's something else that's kind of disillusioned me to the game a little bit, is I transitioned the server over thinking it would improve performance, and it has and it hasn't, in all honesty. So there's a thinking period needed there, I would say. But yeah, that's that. What's your favourite non-railway building? This is a good question too, because there's a lot of non-railway buildings on the server here. There's this, which is the Summerset Place Theatre, which is a personal favourite of mine. This used to be City Hall when this was Guard City. And then we... I turned it into a theatre, added this extension on the back here. If we go in here, I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. This is a booking ticket office. Not booking office, that's a railway term. It's a ticket office. And then if we go up the stairs... This is what the theatre looks like. Now, we had furniture in here. That furniture was not supported by Fabric, so I'm going to have to replace all the chairs. But this, yeah, it's a little community theatre with a little backstage area. The reason it's elevated now, this used to be on ground level. I will show you that as well. Might as well do a little history of the server while we're here. This whole building, this level here that you're looking at, used to be ground level. But when I extended these tunnels here, it replaced the floor in there. So what we did, or I did, was I lifted the whole building up a level, turned the downstairs into the dressing rooms and all that stuff. The stage then became the right level and stuff as well. And then these tunnels were able to extend underneath. I can't remember how far they go. But yeah, that's a good candidate. My absolute favourite non-railway building though is this. This is the Spiral, which, as the name suggests, is a big residential building, which again has no furniture in it anymore. Ah, that's so annoying. This was fully furnished not long ago. I need to find out how to get in here again, because this is all sealed off now. Yeah, I can't get in that way. 1 second, folks. Let me just remember where the... No, that's not it. What am I looking for? I'm looking for a staircase. There it is. This is Woodbridge Station. This is probably the busiest station on the network right now. But yeah, if we come through all these tunnels here that Master Trams has built, like I said at the top of the video, the collaboration there has been a big help. And yeah, this is the spiral. So it's basically a huge apartment building. So if you come up the stairs here, this all needs furnishing and stuff still. But we've got a big fountain here with basically open access to it. This over here is the check-in desks, which again used to have furniture. That's all been removed. The doors are still in though, which is interesting because that had to be changed as well. Over here we had benches. They all need replacing. And then we have the escalators that take you up to the various levels. And it goes right the way up, as you can see, to the tippy top. And this is by far the tallest building on the server as well. But yeah, you can see how we get the spiral effect. There's staircases here between levels. In terms of accessibility, there will be lifts. So you have access to all of these pairings and all of these pairings, but these middle ones you won't have access to if you are otherwise abled. But besides that, it's got full accessibility. It's a really nice build. If I was just to show you inside one of the apartments, we've got glass floors as well, so it really gets your vertigo going. And this is it. This is what they look like on the inside. There's a lot of work needs doing here as well, making them look a lot nicer, and it looks like I now have the opportunity to do that. Down there is the airport, which I don't think, yeah, there's no mention of that, but that is the airport. So yeah, this is by far my favourite building, railway or non-railway actually. I'd say I'd like it in both regards. These used to be automatic doors. Oh, they still are. Okay, just a bit of a delay there. I need to find my way out again. This place is a bit of a labyrinth. That goes back up to the station this way. Might as well explore these tunnels while we're here. This way goes out to... I think this goes to the quayside. Yes, it does. Which, if you prepare for the frames to drop, that's Woodbridge Depot. Yeah, and then Woodbridge Station itself, which is also an awesome building. There's a set of deep level tube platforms down there, and then underneath these light rail platforms, also heading east to west, there's a set of subsurface tube platforms as well, which will eventually get populated. As I've said before, and I'll say it again, currently they're not populated, but if you want to come on and turn them into something, become a member or a Patreon supporter. Links to both are in the description. Self-promotion. I know, it's obscene. This is Warehouse 14 as well, by the way. This is a residential building, which is also cool. It needs a roof adding to it, of course, but besides that, it's cool. In fact, this had a roof. This was an asphalt roof, so that just needs replacing. I'll probably just put black concrete or something on it instead. Next question. What's your favourite line? Well, that's obviously going to be the loop line here, which is currently in the process of being operated, as you can see. Can I show you it on the map? I think the best way to show you it would be... bring this back up here. Nope, that's not going to do it at all. In that case, we'll hide that. Was it F1? Yeah, so the loop starts here at Woodbridge, runs up through Kingsbridge, through Summerset Place, which is here, through Waterhill Road, I'm trying to remember all the names, Mosaic Bridge, Clag Lane, Nightingale Pass, Fishing Town, I think it is, or Fishers Town, Ravine Town, which is awesome, Reveton Mines, Reveton Junction, Reveton Gate, which is the newest station on the line, but it's the oldest in terms of its design, Reveton Waters, which is under this building here. Then we've got, oh man, one sec, I need to remind myself of the name. There's a lot of stations on here now because Master Trams has his own town. Peninsula Gardens, that's the one. So that's Peninsula Gardens. Then there's one called Blue Avenue, which is around here somewhere. Then we've got Station 1, which is somewhere around here. And then we've got Somerset Central, which right now looks like crap, but will eventually be the biggest station, at least that this line runs through, if not on the entire server. There's a lot going on. These trains are also incredibly loud. Oh, and we had a real-time mod. that doesn't work anymore on Fabric either. So we're back on Minecraft time. See how quick that moon's moving. Next question, where will the next loop expansion be? That's a very good question as well, and I've kind of technically already answered it. So there's a branch of the loop, which isn't a branch of the loop, in all honesty. So the light rail is one big network, and there's lots of branches that span off and rejoin and things. So Waterhill Road, that's a junction. There's a line that will go off in that direction. Reefton Junction, as the name suggests, as a junction on many lines, including the light rail. You can actually see here is one of the lines, and that will head off in this direction, probably slightly to the northeast. There is another junction over at Station 1, and then Summerset Central is a big junction, and there'll be another junction over here. But yeah, this one is the airport branch, which is the only one right now that actually operates. This all needs redoing though, because I don't like it. I rushed it. And there's also going to be another station built. I think it's over here. It was originally going to be here, but I'm going to move it, I think, to here. Or rebuild all of this and build it somewhere in the middle, just so that it makes a bit more sense. The idea is this is an old docks area that's been turned into like a Canary Wharf kind of thing, but the railway has to follow above the roads. So having a station, it'll be like, you know, the New York subway where they've got those stations that straddle the roads. I'm going to try and build it like that. In terms of the next loop extension, the main objective really is to extend this way via a couple of other stations and then have it come up to Summerset Central, and that will be where that goes. Once that's done, we technically have a full circle at that point, even though we don't. But in terms of the map, it'll be a full circle, even though these two tracks aren't actually connected. And then we can do Summerset Central to Summerset Central, and it will look really confusing on the PIDs. But yeah. And then finally, where will the next non-loop line expansion be? Well, I've kind of... Whoops, did not mean to do that. I've talked about this on my community post, I believe. My plan is to build a tram network around here as well, from Summerset Central along here, and then down to Woodbridge, and then another line that will go along Autumn Boulevard, which I think is this one. That's already been planned out, and up to like Reefton and beyond, and basically fill all this area in here with trams, and that'll be a little tram network. So that's one plan. I also want to try and get a subsurface line going, or maybe even a tube line. So Woodbridge, these tube lines here north to south, I think from here it will actually curve this way, because believe it or not, as big as this map is, this is only half the city. There will be all of this again on this side, including another loop. So having this come this way and then run through Summerset Central doesn't seem as out of the way as it appears. And then there's also, because there's the subsurface platforms over here at Summerset Place, that line will also head over to Summerset Central, and then the one under here will also run to Summerset Central. You kind of get the idea at this point. Look at that airport, that looks awesome. Although this was all asphalt, these big gaps, so that all needs filling in again. We'll fix it. It might just be black concrete for now. We'll find a way to fix it. But yeah, that's basically it for Summerset MTR. There are lots of other things I want to do with this map. The main thing is I want to get more people on here. There's room for 10 players right now, and that can be expanded if necessary. So again, if you want to join this, check out the information in the links in the description for how to become a Patreon supporter or a YouTube member. And I want to get as many people on here as possible. Basically, I want to stress test the server. How many players can be online at any one time. And you can have entirely your own projects. I can't actually show you because it's so far north. But Master Trams has his own city that I've not even visited yet. I'm waiting for him to do some videos on it, and then I'll go up and see it. But it's from around here. It's like, I think 2,000 blocks, maybe even further to the north. But I think it might be 8,000 blocks. It's an extremely long way. And we do have this airport, which was the way to connect them all up. But at the time of recording the last episode in the series, and I say that, I don't mean the last episode, I mean the previous episode in the series, the planes weren't working. There was something wrong with the pathfinding. So I'm just going to hop over there now and see what's going on. But basically, this will be the way to connect the two cities. His city's called Tramsburg, and he's got a little suburb called Chippyville. And then, yeah, you'd catch a plane from here, which is Summerset Docklands Airport. And that would take you up to Tramsburg. And it looks like it's still not working correctly, which is annoying. But yeah, this is the airport. That's also a very favourite building of mine. But I guess it's technically a station, so I can't really count it. I thought I saw a villager in there then for a second. I was about to say, what the hey? And then, yeah, the station is directly opposite over here, which is also awesome because it's got a massive ferry dock attached to the back of it, which is also functioning. We have boats. I want to get other boats, but right now we do have boats. These boat models look different. Huh. There used to be oars off them. There aren't any oars anymore. No more oars. And then, yeah, this is where the branch terminates. Oh, that's annoying, the fact that those trains are bunched up like that. Oh, well. So, yeah, that's the end of Summerset. I'm going to hop back to the face cam just to do the wrap up. So here I am again, back on the floor with the broken chair, just to wrap things up quickly, summarise what you've seen today, and talk a little bit about the channel in the future. So, first of all, once again, thank you everybody who's subscribed to the channel. Since we hit 2K back in, I think it was June, we've actually gained another 100 or so subscribers. So the channel is growing continuously, which is awesome to see. However, I don't want to be one of those guys who's like, he's got the world and he still wants more. But the channel is not growing at the rate I want it to anymore, in all honesty. And videos aren't getting the views that I would like. Projects aren't getting the recognition, maybe, that I feel that they deserve for the amount of effort that went into making them. And I don't want to end this video on a sour note, but I will say that this year has probably been one of the hardest in terms of M4J. And it's kind of made me realise, how long do I want to keep doing this for? So this isn't the end of the channel necessarily, but it's the start of some big changes coming. Videos might not be as frequent. They might not be weekly anymore. Basically, I'm giving it to the end of 2025, and then I'm reviewing how things are going to work. I don't want to quit. I do enjoy what I do, and it's given me so much in life. But, you know, spending a long time between jobs, trying to find sources of income, things like that, kind of made me realize that this channel is not sustainable the way it is right now. It's not paying the bills. To be honest, the amount I make from it each year barely covers the server cost of MTR, Summerset MTR, and the domain for my website. That's basically it. There's nothing else that I can do with that money, which is kind of, it's good. It pays for itself in that regard, but it's also very disappointing. So I can't force people to do things they don't want to do. I would never dream of doing that. But any way that the channel can be supported, I would always appreciate, even if that's just recommending the videos to other people. I'm not saying you have to become a YouTube member and pay money that you might not have even. Otherwise, I'm going to stop making content. That's not what this is. It's just my way of saying things aren't going the way that I would necessarily want them to, and I want to nip that in the bud now before it gets too much, because the channel takes a toll physically, mentally, emotionally. And at the time of recording this, I've had one video go up since my return from my summer break, and in all honesty, it hasn't performed how I want it to at all. And I've got another video going out, again, at the time I'm recording this, I've got a video going out tomorrow, which is the first OpenTTD one, which I've got real high hopes for based on what I've been doing. And again, I don't want that to go out and it doesn't perform, because that is soul destroying. So I'm giving it to the end of 2025. There may be less content between now and then, which sounds contradictory, but sometimes less is more. I'm not going to rush videos out. I'm going to try and do the best I can. I'm already planning October's content as I'm recording this in September, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, 2025 might be the last year for M4J as you know it, but not necessarily the last year for M4J. So sorry to end on a bit of a downer. It's not how I wanted this to go, but considering you guys have been awesome in the Discord asking all these questions, I thought I might as well be honest with you about how I feel it's going, where I think it's at, and what I think could be improved. And a lot of it comes down to me as well. Some videos might not have the effort in necessarily that they should, but the OpenTTD ones especially, each episode has taken, it used to be, you know, if I was building a railway or something, it would be the time it took to build that plus a little bit extra to edit it and then upload it, thumbnail, description, all that stuff. So we're talking like, you know, 4 hours maybe in total to record a video. Now with all of the off-camera stuff as well, it takes a week to make each of those videos, and I'm trying to do 2 a month. So that's, you know, literally 2 weeks of the month gone just on making those videos, which is why I can't do it weekly. I said weekly before, but then I realized that's not feasible. Although if I do all these timing trains and stuff, then that could cut that down considerably. But yeah, I just wanted to be honest with you guys. It's not going how I want it to anymore, and I'm not particularly happy with it. And I'm at an age now and a time in my life where I don't want to be fretting about views and stuff. There's other things that I need to be doing in my life as a man in his 30s. So it could stay as a hobby. It's certainly not a career anymore, this channel. It's given me a career, which I'm very grateful for, but this alone is not sustainable in its current state. So cards on the table, that's where we're at. We're going to go to the end of the year and then review the situation. But that doesn't mean I'm not grateful to each and every one of you who has helped support the channel over the last 12 years. It is greatly appreciated. The questions as well, I appreciate those who asked them. I think we only had 4 people ask questions though, which out of a community of 2,000 and a Discord server of over 50, I think, or 60, to only have 4 people actually engage like that kind of sums up why I'm not happy with the situation right now. There's a lot of people that sit there and watch the content, and I wish they would get involved a bit more, you know, and help the channel grow that way. I've considered the options of, you know, making it not a member exclusive thing to join the MTR server, but it needs to pay for itself, which is why that slight paywall is there. I might put out something towards the end of the year asking potential members and current members and Patreon supporters and potential Patreon supporters what their opinions are of that system, because I still want to bring it all in-house. I want it all under YouTube and discontinue the Patreon basically, and maybe try and make it a little more affordable, because it's that thing of you cut the cost, more people pay, you end up making more overall. That's the strategy I want to go for, but I also need to make sure that if I do lower the tier costs, that I don't end up making a loss, because that's not ideal either. So right now, money wise, things are paying for themselves, which is awesome, but it still needs to progress. It needs to advance, you know. Anyway, stop talking, Mark. Thank you very much, everybody, for supporting the channel, and thank you for watching this one as well. I think it's going to be over an hour, this video, so if you've got to the end, well done. I'm very, very grateful. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like button. Share the video as well. I'd really appreciate that. Anyone who shares the content, you are contributing as much to the channel as those who are YouTube members. As far as I'm concerned, it's all very, very much appreciated, very badly needed, and yeah, I'm very grateful to anyone who's helped at all, even if it's just, you know, going on a Reddit post and saying, oh, M4J can do that for you or whatever. It all means a lot, so thank you very much. But yeah, thanks for watching. Comment down below if you've got any suggestions or things for the channel, any ideas for future videos and all that good stuff. If you're watching this and you haven't already subscribed, then why not subscribe? I've not really sold it very well, I admit, but the stuff that's already on the channel is good, so subscribe if you've enjoyed all that, and there'll be more of that, because yeah, that's how it works on YouTube. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you once again, and until next time, I will see you soon.